Thank you for coming once again. We have found people who make up humanity in one way or another. Their stories may or may not touch you, but it is important to understand them without conviction. It is ideal to bring them to you, to see them and not judge them. They are to learn from their mistakes or celebrate from their success. Now, let's go to what we were coming for.
I was going through my old computer stuff and trying to get rid of some trash and whatnot, and I came across this letter that I wrote to my ex-girlfriend who ended up cheating on me and having a three-way, and I walked in on it as well. This is dated 3 days before that happened. This was written when I was 17, and this was at a time where I was pretty passionate about writing. I was writing a lot of poems and stuff. I've always been able to write pretty well, I think. You guys can judge it based off this letter, but there's something about you that's hard to put into words, but I keep trying anyway. When I look into your eyes, everything else fades a little. They feel like something, maybe a place I've been before, but can't quite name. There's a quiet pull to them, sort of like gravity, but with a little bit of a heartbeat. And your smile, it's unreal. Not in some dramatic way, but in the way it makes everything around you shift. Just like light hitting glass at the perfect angle, beautiful and impossible to ignore. You smile and suddenly everything feels a little easier. You make me feel balanced in a way I didn't know I needed. Being around you isn't loud, even when we're laughing. It's steady, like something I can lean into. You bring me this weird mix of peace and spark. It calms me down, but also wakes me up at the same time. The way you look at me, even for when it's less than a second, feels like a whole conversation without words. There's warmth, but also this curiosity, like you genuinely see me, and that's rare. I've never had that before. What I love most is just how effortless it all feels. You don't have to try, just being near you makes the world feel a little softer, a little less heavy. You have this kind of magic, the kind that doesn't need attention to be felt. I don't know where this all goes, but I know that with you, everything makes more sense. You make the ordinary feel worth paying attention to. With love, Evan.
The beginning of life, which includes love. You can't go backwards to a part of life that happened once. And you can't go forward without thinking of who this girl used to be. You must have found an important piece of joy, one where you felt indebted. But at some point, the old piece of memory that this girl created for you will start taking a permanent shape, and instead of what happened, you'll recall the reality of what you choose to remember. And the older you get, the less you'll remember, so much so that only bits and small pieces will linger. You're lucky to have such an amiable moment. People will aim for the best parts of life. Unfortunately, when they get what they get, it'll come mixed up with everything else. Always be happy for what you remember. Not everything comes to you the way you want it.
So I went over to my soon-to-be ex-husband's new place yesterday. Not for him, but for the kids. And I wanted to make sure that they had extra diapers, clothes, their favorite snacks, toys, everything that they needed to feel safe, comfortable, and at home in a space that was unfamiliar to them. And I'm genuinely grateful that he gave me that time to be with them, and that extra time to make sure that everything was okay for my own sanity and my mama heart, because I needed that. But something unexpected happened while I was there. For the first time since all of this happened, I saw how deeply this was affecting him, and I saw him really cry for the first time. I mean, in a way that I've never seen before, and it was humbling because up until now, he acted like it was easy. It was light. He was almost excited, laughing, humming show tunes in our house when we were together. When we knew he was moving out and the divorce was inevitable, he was acting like a friend moving out and getting ready for a new adventure. And I really thought he didn't care. But yesterday was different. He was broken, crying like I've never seen him cry before. And he told me it didn't have to come to this. And maybe in some ways it didn't, but the truth is it did come to this. I begged him to choose us. I begged him to be different. I begged him to make responsible decisions and stop the lies. And he didn't. So I didn't have a choice. I didn't walk away because I stopped loving him. I didn't walk away because I stopped loving this family and what we built together. I walked away because I'm choosing peace, myself, and that is, I guess, one of the biggest realizations that I've had throughout this is, in some ways I felt really selfish in making this decision, but he has been selfish for years. And choosing myself is what's right for all of us in the end.
There is a certain number of instances where, as a wife, you're called to make difficult choices, some of which you never thought you would make. But as time would have it, the relationship came to a close. You go through pieces of pain, always knowing that this was your husband. While on the one hand, he is happy because he's leaving what he thought was disguised as subjugation, but on the other hand, he has arrived at a life he didn't realize was waiting for him. You see, no matter how much asking, perhaps even begging, the days are numbered for him to leave his old home. It does carry his own sense of belittlement. He is the one that chose this path, and she was the one that ultimately gave it to him. While they both reflect on their different trajectories, they are only followed by the children. But like I said before, in any relationship, the children always come second.
Stay-at-home mom that's getting a divorce after being married for 7 years? She said this happened all of a sudden, and what sucks is that she has no money. All the credit cards that she uses are under her husband's name. She's not on the deed or the title for the home. She doesn't own any of the cars that she drives because, again, it's under her husband's name, and she has a 7-year gap in her resume. Everyone is saying in the comments, too, that you can get custody of your kids still, you can get alimony, you can get child support. Let's think about that. She was married for 7 years, which is, by law, considered a short marriage. And all of that is determined by a case-by-case scenario. The dad is the provider. The dad is the homeowner. And the dad has means of transportation to get the kids anywhere they need to in case of an emergency. The mom doesn't have any record of that. What would the courts favor? And I'm not taking sides, I'm just being transparent. And even if she got alimony, I guarantee you it wouldn't be that much, and it wouldn't be for a long time because she is a young, able-bodied woman. And that is something they also take into consideration when they make those types of decisions in the court. I fully support stay-at-home parents. I think it's one of the most selfless things that you can ever do is raise a family. And this is just a tragic situation. Honestly, be so for real.
A small piece of heartwarming gift, coming from a positive mind, so it would seem. After analyzing some of the events the woman is facing, it would appear to him that she has made all the decisions she is able to make. But what he doesn't realize is that every breath a person takes is one more chance at life. Literally. Sure, her ex-husband may hold all the cards for now, but that simply means nothing. She will win or lose, but nothing stays the same ever. She may not have everything he mentions, but at this point, neither he nor she can see that. It is sad for people not to have all the answers readily visible, but if we did, what kind of humans would we be? There has been plenty of times which we have spent together on this platform. There has been many pieces of life, some short and some long, but every fragment that it has touched has and will remain as a construct of history, simply to show you that you were living here now. We want to thank you again for coming. We hope we see you again.